Hey guys, Preston here, aka Magic Hour Movie Man. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite British TV shows, but before I get into that, quick announcement. I am on Twitter now, so if you're on Twitter, you want to follow me, that'd be great. I'll follow you. We'll have a grand old time. My Twitter, what I plan to do with it is, other than, it'll be linked to my YouTube videos, but I do want to tweet whenever I find like good deals I think you guys might want to know about. I can tweet about that, and there'll be that immediate information given out. Also, I may end up live tweeting some movies. It'll probably be movie related, so if you like movie related stuff, there you go. Follow me on Twitter. I'll put the link down below. Okay, so let's get to the real stuff. British television. I'm a big fan of British television. Ever since I was a kid, PBS would air a lot of the British TV shows, including this first one that I'm a big fan of, and that's Fawlty Towers with John Cleese, who I'm a huge fan of. Great TV series about a Basil Fawlty who, along with his wife, owns a resort hotel, but it's a dump basically, and he is a really socially inept, mean-spirited fellow, and it's just really funny. Kind of a precursor to David Brent from The Office, which will be coming up here shortly. So if you like John Cleese, the Monty Python stuff, you might enjoy this. Fawlty Towers. Of course, another TV show to bring up when you talk about John Cleese is Monty Python's Flying Circus. That was a great TV show. Again, I used to see early episodes of that. PBS. I know that there's a DVD set of Monty Python's Flying Circus. I'm not sure about Blu-ray, but it might be worth me kind of waiting that out a little bit. But yeah, Monty Python's Flying Circus, another one that's highly recommended if you've never seen it. Okay, another TV series that I first encountered in the 90s is Rowan Atkinson and Mr. Bean. Very funny stuff. This is a lot of physical humor. It's reminiscent of the silent film comedies, to me at least. Very much like a Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton type of gags and setups. The movies, well, I've only seen the first movie. I forgot what, I think it's just called Bean. I wasn't really crazy about because it recycled a lot of the same gags. But the TV series I can definitely recommend. I'm a big animation fan, and there was a series that was in the UK called Creature Comforts. This is the first and second seasons. Basically, Creature Comforts is based off of a short film from Aardman Studios, or Nick Park from Aardman Studios. The basic premise of that was he would record interviews, audio interviews with real people, and then go back and animate them as if they were animals in a zoo. So I'm sure he tailored questions to kind of get certain responses. And it's the same thing with the TV series. There's no real storyline. It's just a series of interviews of different people, real off the street people, on the street people, street people. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Real people. And then animating them as animals, and just it's the animation that really does capture the voice of the people that they're interviewing, and I think it's really funny stuff. All right, I alluded to David Brent earlier when talking about Fawlty Towers, so of course I've got to talk about the original Office, the UK Office. A lot of people are familiar with the American Office, and some don't realize that it's based off of this British series. The British Office is genius to me. It captures not only a documentary style, but it captures a really unique character in David Brent, in that he's repulsive, he's full of himself, patronizing, and there's a lot of bad qualities. But by the end of the series, you like him for some inexplicable reason. You root for him. And the Christmas special is really well done. It's a great ending to a great series. So check out The Office if you haven't seen it. And speaking of Ricky Gervais, he also did a series called Extras. This was shown on HBO here in the U.S. And this is a good series as well. Not as good as The Office, but it's kind of a high bar to meet. Basically, Ricky Gervais in this one plays a little bit of a different character. He's kind of a down-on-his-luck actor who's getting, of course, a lot of extra roles. But over the course of 2 seasons, he gains some fame, and then it's about him dealing with the fame. I just own the first season. I don't own the second season. But here's a list of TV series I do not own. I would like to own, but I've seen them, and I'm a big fan of these. I had mentioned this in a recent horror movie video, and that's Dead Set. It was basically a mini-series based on a zombie outbreak that happens while Big Brother, the reality show, is going on. So the people in the Big Brother house do not realize that there's this zombie outbreak because they're cut off from all communication. And it just kind of follows that, and we see some of the behind-the-scenes people dealing with the outbreak, and then the final standoff takes place inside the Big Brother house. It's really well done, really good. If you like shows like The Walking Dead, you should definitely check out Dead Set. This next series I absolutely love. It's called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. And some of you may have seen it on Comedy Central. They aired it on Adult Swim. It's a crazy premise. It's a horror writer, kind of like a Stephen King, but nowhere near as good, who had a TV show in the 80s. And each episode, it's him kind of introducing a different episode. Like the TV series had been covered up or set aside, shelved, and this in present day is supposed to be like showing these episodes for the first time. But the shows are totally cheesy 80s. The premise of the show is it's basically a haunted hospital and the crazy things that happen there. And just things like the opening title sequence is hilarious to me. And I'll try to find that and put a link to that down below, because just watching that title sequence should make you want to see the show. And there's an actor from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Richard Ayoade, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is also in another British TV show I like called The IT Crowd. And The IT Crowd is about a couple of guys in an IT department in a big company, and the woman that's hired to be like their liaison, because they have no social skills, because they're computer nerds. And it's just a really funny series. If you like Big Bang Theory, I would say check out IT Crowd. Life on Mars, that's another TV series that I liked quite a bit. I forget how many seasons it was. I think maybe 2 or 3. But that's basically a kind of a sci-fi concept of a cop from present day somehow ends up in the 70s as a cop in the 70s. And he's trying to figure out how he got there and how he can get back to the present day. But meanwhile, he's trying to go along with, or trying to work within the system that was there in the 70s, which is very different than present day. It's a lot more rougher, seedier, a lot of bending or breaking of the rules. So he's trying to solve crimes using more modern techniques, while at the same time butting heads with a lot of the other officers, including his boss in the 70s. So it is more episodic, more police procedural, but there is that overarching story of trying to figure out why he's there, how he can get back. It appears he's actually in a coma in present day, and he's trying to figure out how to get out of that coma and get back to present day. Spaced. Spaced is another great show. If you like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, everyone involved in that was involved in a TV series called Spaced. So it's Edgar Wright writing and directing, and co-written and starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. And the basic setup is a very standard sitcom type of formula where a guy and a girl have to pretend to be married so that they can get a great deal on this apartment or flat. And the way it's shot is very inventive, creative. You see a lot of the early stages of Edgar Wright's directing style. And it's just a lot of funny jokes. And if you're into nerdy, geeky stuff, there's a lot of that in the series. So it's very entertaining if you're a geek like me. Another great TV series is Saxondale, starring Steve Coogan. I think it only ran 2 seasons. Basically the premise of that, Steve Coogan's kind of a blue-collar pest exterminator, loves his muscle car. It's another character, kind of like David Brent, that in one aspect it seems like he should be unlikable, but there's enough humanity in the character that you end up rooting for him, liking him. It's just really well done. Now we'll talk about Sherlock. Sherlock is a series that's currently running, basically. It's an interesting setup in that it's 3 episodes per season, at least how it's shown in the U.S. 3 episodes per season, but they're feature-length movies. So you get 3 movies per season. And it's Sherlock Holmes in modern day. When I first heard the premise, I just kind of rolled my eyes and, thought it was just another dumb modern take on, a famous character like that. But it's done by the name escapes me. A very good British TV writer. Someone will tell me in the comments, I'm sure. But it's so well done that I definitely would recommend it. It's different from like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, which those movies are fun, but those are, in my opinion, those are more action films than real Sherlock Holmes movies. This one does focus a little more on the intellect of Sherlock Holmes, and I enjoy that quite a bit. He's really kind of portrayed as almost a Asperger's type character. So check that out. Also, I've only seen the first season of this series, but I really liked it, and that's Downton Abbey. I realize I may have to cash in my man card, but it is a very enjoyable show, at least the first season. I still have yet to see Season 2 or the Christmas special, and I believe Season 3 is either going on or finished. So I'm behind on that, but the first season I thought was great. But you also see the servants as well as the upper class people who own the manor and the differences there, the relationships, how life functioned at that time and at that status level, I guess. There's a lot of soap opera elements to it, but it's so well done that it doesn't feel like a soap opera. Again, that's all the first season. So I look forward to watching the rest of that series. If there's some British TV series that you've seen that you would recommend, please mention that down below in the comments section. I'm always looking for new TV shows or new movies to watch, and British TV I'm a big fan of, so yeah, give me a heads up on those, or comment on some of these TV series that I've mentioned. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I'm going to have a cup of coffee because I'm American. You can enjoy your cup of tea if you're in the UK. I'll have my coffee, and maybe we'll meet each other on Twitter, which I'll put the Twitter link down below. Thanks for watching. See ya.